Greetings, everyone. You're with Tanisha Ali of Butterfly Transformations, and I'm talking today about homeschooling versus digital learning, especially if you're finding yourself being overwhelmed with digital learning. And if it seems to be too much, remember you get to choose. You have options. You have to make decisions sometimes that will turn out to be some of the best decisions that you've ever made. So I'm here today to help you to gain clarity, to uplevel your mindset, to heal and clear energetic blockages, and to manifest the glory of God that is within you. This is my Manifesting Your Masterpiece book. If you have not purchased it yet, it's a perfect opportunity to give it as a gift during the holidays or to purchase it for your own personal library. It is not a chapter book. It is a book that has a daily quote and a daily verbal injunction, something for you to do to help you raise in your vibration. Just a second. I don't like to edit, so excuse me. Hello? I'm on my second video. Can I call you back in a little bit? Okay. Because I have the phone appointment with the orthopedic person in about 20 minutes, so I'm trying to cut this video short, and then I'll buzz you after that. Okay, all right, bye-bye. So, you look at a quote on your birthday or the quote for the day of the week, or you just flip and let Spirit decide what message you need today, okay? Today's message, for example, is endeavor to make the extraordinary ordinary, which means the things that we aspire to, that we think are larger than life, we need to make those more routine parts of how we live our life, okay? Instead of it being like the big deal thing, it needs to become an everyday thing. All right, so this is beautiful. Actually, yeah, I don't want to read that because I do want to stay on topic. I need to keep this video short. Y'all know I can be kind of long-winded. Homeschooling. By profession, I'm an educator. That is where my master's degree is. For almost 15 years, I ran a school. I ran my own school. I left the public school system and I started a school. I loved it. Those were some of the best years of my life. And if it were not for what I'm looking forward to from 50 on, I would say those were the best years of my life. But I know that what I'm looking forward to and what I'm moving towards in my life currently will probably outshine that. But as of right now, those were some of my favorite years. Being able to take and create a curriculum for my students, being able to see that it takes half the time to teach a child something when you focus on what that child really needs to see, being able to see the difference between how time is wasted in public school and how so much of what they learn is totally irrelevant and no longer has its place in the society in which we live. Just all of this nonsense, okay? My reason for making this video today is to sympathize and empathize with those of you who are trying to have your children go through digital learning and are finding it very stressful and not knowing that there is an easier option that you can pursue that can take the load off of you, that can take the load off of your children. Whatever is stressful for you is stressful for your children because you're in a state of stress and you may feel unable to help them with something in particular, and so you are struggling, and so they feel that pressure, they feel that anxiety. I'm getting hot in here. Hold on, y'all. I need to get some water. They are feeling the little refrigerator I have gets so cold. This is the best it can do for me is to freeze the ice. So I need to put some water in this. So hold on. So what you may be finding, and this is a great way actually to keep something cold because I can just drink off the top. Yeah. So what you need to realize is that digital learning and going to school is a part of a matrix that if you become a part of that, you will think that's the only thing that exists. It's like living in America and not ever leaving this country and thinking that America is the best place in the world. That's bull crap. The more you get out of this country, the more you realize there are people living in this world, living a good life for a fraction of the price that you live for over here, not being a slave to their jobs. And there's a reason why they have expatriated, if that's the word, to another country. They just shifted their mindset and they created a reality that worked better for them. In reality, seriously, and I'm just going to say this just to hammer my point home. I have no problem with living in another country in a few years, maybe 4, 5, 6 months out of the year, going and living in another country where I know I can live for $1,200 or $1,300 a month and live great, especially since I can do my work online. Why do I need to be in here in this country, being a slave to everything that we're a slave to? Even though I have a lot more freedom than some people because I work for myself, the environment around me is no longer what I want. I want fresh fruits and vegetables. I want a quality of life. I want my external environment to be around people who know the value of being in nature, who know the value of being kind to their neighbors, who in terms of true human development are far better than we are in this country. Thank you, God, for this water. Ooh, I needed something cold. So, homeschooling your children. As an educator who ran a school where my students outperformed their public school counterparts in standardized testing on a regular basis, following a curriculum mindset that I created that had nothing to do with what they were doing in any of the county schools, and to see my students performing well today in their lives, and meeting students of mine who are now 26, who when they were with me were 13, or who are now 15, who when they were with me were 4. Trust me, there is another way. If you have to be home with your children and you are finding this to be too stressful and it looks like it is going to continue, or if you are sending your children to school every day and you do not feel comfortable with them being at school and you're afraid that they're going to bring something home, whatever the reason may be, homeschool your children. Now, the regulations in different states vary. Some states like Georgia have very loose homeschooling laws. Other states, if you homeschool, they require you to send your child to a specific person, all right? And that person may be somebody you like. They may be a company or an organization that's too far from your house. You may have to leave your home. You have to figure out what your homeschooling requirements are. But the majority of states in this country have very loose homeschooling requirements. In the state of Georgia, all you have to do is download or go to your county education office and get a homeschooling attendance form. You can complete that online. It's your intent to homeschool. It's a homeschool attendance form and a couple of other very simple documents. By the time you get started, you just need to have submitted that paperwork, go to your child's school, officially withdraw them from school, and start your curriculum. Now, what is your curriculum? Your curriculum is whatever the law says. If in Georgia you need an hour of science, an hour of social studies, reading, and math. You do that however you want to do that, because ultimately you're filling out the paperwork saying that you've met the requirements and you're turning it in. Your science lesson might be going to the park and getting in nature for the day. Your social studies lesson may be getting on the phone and having a conversation with grandma, emotional connectedness, communication skills. It could be going online and researching what the trip to Belize that you're going to be taking in the spring is going to be like. Your lessons can be anything. The most critical part of what you want to do is teach reading and teach math. And as you're teaching reading and teaching math, teach problem solving and critical thinking, which shows up in reading as comprehension skills and the ability to summarize, the ability to evaluate a story that was read, the ability to speak about the characters. A standard workbook today, a good workbook, can accomplish that. You may ask your children a few additional questions. If you're dealing with the lower grades, Explode the Code and Recipe for Reading are excellent curriculums to teach your child how to read. You can teach your child how to read in 2 weeks. 4 weeks top by following these curriculums, and you can get it done in 1 hour a day. Okay, then you go in and you teach math. You get the workbook that is a grade higher than the grade that your child is currently in, if your child is on level. If your child is behind, get the grade level workbook that is at the level of the grade that your child is currently in and work with them. Those exercises in that workbook that explain how to do that math are much easier than some of the crap that is coming down through core curriculum today for schools across the nation, where they have 15 different ways to teach you how to multiply instead of telling you to sit your butt down and memorize 3 times 3 is 9. It's much easier. You're talking about maybe working with your children 2 to 3 hours a day and letting them enjoy the rest of their life, taking the stress off of yourself. You don't have to meet these demands with this being on this computer all day. It's not even healthy. Take yourself out of it, and at the end of the school year, your kid is going to re-register and they're going to go back to school if the schools open back up as normal and you go back to work. Or maybe you decide you want to homeschool them from this point on. Maybe you decide Sandra down the street has 2 kids and y'all going to homeschool together, and 2 days out of the week the kid's going to be with you working through the workbooks, and another 2 days out of the week they're going to be with her. All I'm saying is give yourself permission to be creative about how you're going to work with your children during this time, and stop letting them hijack your household. Stop letting them hijack your sanity and make you feel that you have no options. You always have an option. All you have to do is be willing to think outside the box. How much of your child's time in school anyway is spent listening to the teacher yell, watching the teacher not be able to manage the unruly kids that are being sent from their homes by parents who themselves are unruly and parenting their children as children themselves? How much of your child's time is spent running back and forth down the hallway, going to the cafeteria, doing all this other transitional stuff? How much of their time is spent sitting at their desk waiting for the teacher to acknowledge them while they do 50 endless worksheets? How much of quality learning is really going on? What is it that they are really being subjected to on a day-to-day basis? How much of what your child is learning in the classroom is not teaching them how to understand and read for meaning? How often are you able to put a text in front of your child and ask them questions and have them know what you're talking about? What is their grade level vocabulary? Are they learning? Is there a targeted vocabulary program? Maybe as you teach reading from a workbook, you're also going to bring in some wordly wise to help them revamp the vocabulary. So they're busy during the day and they're doing stuff, but it's less hassle than what they're doing at school, and they're still getting in the criticals. Do you know how many students that come out of public school that I used to work with tutoring in the second part of my day who could not work without a calculator, that were in public school, who could not, if we were doing, I'll give you an example. I was teaching to a child in the 12th grade, working with her. She was behind. I was working with her on dividing quadratic equations. And I think she had to subtract 15x squared minus 12x minus 3 or something. I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe it was x squared minus, I don't know. Then it was 14x squared minus 2x plus 5. And she had to divide one into the other. And when it came down to subtracting the coefficient, she couldn't subtract 14x squared from 15x squared. She needed a calculator. Y'all know that's 1x squared. She needed a calculator. She was in the 12th grade. Countless 7th and 8th graders who, in order for me to teach them fractions, they didn't know their multiplication tables. And I needed to watch them use a calculator or try to teach them fractions because they were having a test tomorrow, and teach them multiplication, which is pointless because they should have learned that in the 3rd or 4th grade. Meaning that the kids are not getting what they need in public school, which is one of the reasons why Sophia hated school. She said, "Mommy, why are you sending me to public school? I'm learning the same stuff every day. I feel like I'm in almost," she said, like an assembly line in another 3rd dimensional reality where people are being channeled from one classroom to the other, to at the ringing of a bell, to do assignments that don't make sense and have no basis in terms of what they need in life. What do your children really need in life? They need to know how to do basic math. They need to know how to think about life mathematically. They need to understand how to read and read fluently, and understand how to think about what they read, which is critical analysis. What else might they need? Some vocabulary, be nice, little icing on the cake. Maybe some, I don't know, what else might you teach them that they might need, that will be something that's going to help them move through life. Word problems, okay, which is problem solving, which I already talked about. But essentially, some spelling skills, some basics, which if they're reading already, they should have decent spelling skills. If not, then you focus on what they need. But the other thing that they need is to be able to feel worthy, to feel good about learning. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to turn them against learning. So take it upon yourself to see what you can do to actually homeschool your children if this digital learning nonsense is not working out for you. I would certainly free myself to do that today rather than be stressed out. I know some parents that are stressed out. I know some parents who cannot work during the day because it's taking them all day to help with that crazy work online, and they think they have to do it. If you were to take your kids out of public school and put them in private school tomorrow, the curriculum would be entirely different. It's like they're going to your own private school. So I love y'all. Don't forget to purchase my book, You're with Tunisia Ali. If you have not liked, subscribed, commented, or shared, make sure you do that. Always remember, everything is spiritual, and spirituality is everything. The choices that you decide to make, how you cope in life, how you see your reality, how you see your place in it, is a spiritual thing. So make the spiritual decision that you need to make today to bring lightness to your life, to bring greater ease to your life, and to just live freer and lighter and more happier. Love you.